Felicitations! It is me, Felicia Day, and this is my podcast. Welcome! Just a shout out to all you new listeners who may have found the podcast on Google Play and or Spotify. I am working on other outlets as well, but if you are consuming this podcast on any platform, please take a chance and leave a review. Somebody might find it. I don't know. If they don't, it's fine too. Well, it is another week in November. We're halfway through November, guys. I don't know what happened. It's one of those things where you realize that time is slipping through your fingers. We are just one foot in the grave at this point. It's a real cheerful time. It is the holidays. I, for one, always get really super depressed around the holidays. I don't know why. I think it's nobody's fault. There's just a lot of pressures. I mean, first of all, there's taxes. And there's always just a lot of work to do around taxes. And then you're like, oh no, I have to pay my taxes. And then you look at all these people who are super rich and they got more money this year because of taxes. And I don't know. It feels like everything's so much more expensive lately. And I don't know what that is. I go to the store and I'm like, I'm not going to buy this shirt. I'm not going to pay that much for something that I'm going to spill ketchup on, okay? Let's go to Forever 21. I'm not 21, but it's fine. I'll be Forever 21. And that's what the title says on the door. And let's just get that possibly flammable shirt. You can't wash it. You know what I'm saying? You just got to extra deodorize. Because if you wash it, it's going to fall apart. I mean, or it'll shrink to the size of a 12-year-old. I mean, I even buy like mediums or larges now there. Because I know that the second time I wear it, after I clean it, it will be half the size of my torso. So that's what's going on with me. I really need to. I have I have basically gotten to the point where I only wear exclusively free t-shirts. Like I have some ones that I got from Red Sonja, and I got some MST3K shirts, and then some other novelty shirts. And whenever anybody gives me a shirt, they're going to be like, you're probably not going to wear this. I'm like, if it fits me, I'll wear it because I don't actually have other clothes. I don't know. I'm still kind of not used to my body after having a kid. And I know, yes, guys, it's almost 2 years. All right. I get it. But I'm not in the shape that I was, which is fine. That's just me trying to work out. I've been working out once a week, which means my chocolate consumption has doubled because I feel like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm in it, guys. This is for the long term, so I might as well just enjoy myself along the ride. It's a rationale that doesn't really make sense in the long term of the world, but I'm enjoying myself more. My thighs aren't getting smaller, so I'll be working on that over the holidays, not. And the holidays, I don't know, it's taxes and buying gifts for everybody, and I get really neurotic about gifts because I don't get a lot of gifts, and I'm not saying that because I want gifts. I'm just saying that I don't receive a lot of gifts. But then I have all these things in my mind that I have to give people gifts, and I'm like, what if we all just said we don't need gifts? What if we just get like $20, or I give you a card telling you how much you mean to me? Would that be better than a candle? Because a candle is what you give somebody. You're like, I don't know. Here's a candle. And then you're always kind of suspect in the back of your mind it was a regift. Because candles are the perfect thing to regift. You stick them in the closet and you're like, whoa, I need a present for Sally. Get it out of there. I recycle a lot of like baby stuff that people give me that I don't want just because I'm like, oh, this is good. But it's an electronic Snoopy, but I don't have electronic toys in my house. So then I'm that person. Or it's a pink purse and cell phone and a fake lipstick. And I'm like, this is abhorrent. I don't even want to donate this to Goodwill because I don't want another child to have this. I literally have this purse in my closet. I'm like, did someone try to punk me? Were they provoking me with this gift? Or was it just an aunt who really, really believes that children who are under 2 need their own cell phone and pink purse and lipstick? I don't know. I've been reading a lot of books to class. I mean, I'm cutting her off, meaning that I really need to stop taking her to the bookstore and buying books. I'm going to the library. And there's a beautiful library in Beverly Hills, which is they have this little room in the kids section, and it's a fairy tale room, and it's so cute. And I want to be the creepy adult just reading books in the corner. I will read fairy tales in that thing, and they'll probably ask me to leave. Last time I was there, I was there with my nanny, and she had the baby. We were looking at books, and I had to pee, and there's one single stall there, and I go in alone, and I come out, and there's this librarian like waiting for me. She's like standing out there like, in the future, this is for families. And I was like, yeah, my baby's over there. And she looked at me like I was a liar. Or I'm a neglectful mother. Other than that, it's a great library. And I think I was defensive, so I'm interpreting this. I'm interpreting this incident in a more horrifying manner than it actually was. I want to give a shout out to a couple of book series that Calliope loves. She loves Halloween, right? So I had a whole list of Halloween books that I wanted to give a shout out to. Guess what? It's November. So I guess I'll save that list for next year, you guys. But there are two series that I really, really love, and I don't know the name of the author. Hopefully Sean Sandaluki, who helps me do my notes, he'll write it down. But there's one series called, it's basically myths interpreted as kids' stories, little board books. So there's like Midas and Odysseus and Athena, and it's about sharing, like Aphrodite is about, please share, Aphrodite. And Athena's about, she does bows, but this other kid, Arachne, decides to tell everybody else she can do bows, even though Athena did the bows, and then the kids don't like her. And then, spoiler alert, finally Arachne tells everybody that Athena did it, and then they're all friends because she does bows on everybody's face. It's a board book, guys. It's a simple ABC kind of storytelling, but they're really cute, and I just love I love Greek myths, so seeing the Greek myths in there is really cute. And then the other series that Calliope loves so much is the Elephant and Piggy by Mo Willems. I don't know. Mo Willems is my favorite. If you have to get one kids book author, it is Mo Willems because he's so funny. They're funny, you guys. The Pigeon books, Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. And then all these Elephant and Piggy books. They're just 100 of them. So, of course, I bought almost all of them. But they're just this kind of an uptight I really am personified by this elephant, Gerald, because he's always kind of neurotic and looking at the dark side and kind of crapping on Piggy's dreams. And then Piggy's like, I don't care. And then they're friends. It's nice, wholesome fun, guys. I become that woman who sings nursery rhymes in the car when we're driving. And there's not even a baby in the car. Like the other day, I was driving to a meeting and I was like, the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. You're not in the car. I'm singing to myself, and it's a nursery rhyme. I won. Where did my life go? So, yeah. I don't know what to get her for Christmas. I've started Christmas shopping for certain people because they're kind of hard. My brother's kind of hard. Last year, I got him one of these, I forget the name of it. I'm real specific today, but it was like an electronic coffee mug, and you have this little thing that'll keep it at a perfect temperature. And I just got it because I was like, well, I got to get this guy something. And I thought maybe it'd be stupid. He loves it. I wish that people would get me the gifts that I get my brother, quite frankly, because he actually gets the best gifts all the time. Like Bose, sound canceling headphones and Apple Watches and stuff. I spoil my brother, okay? Even though I'm not. Now I'm going to cut back. I'm a mom now. I can't. For Calliope, she's getting a dollhouse, but like a wooden dollhouse. And I have this workbench that I want to get her because she loves her tools. She loves like hammering and using she has a little screwdriver and like a toolkit. I love it. It makes me laugh so hard. She gets it out and she's like, whenever anything's broken, she gets it out and brings it over. I'm like, you're a savant. That's what you are. And so I'm going to get her that and maybe a little basketball hoop. And that might be it. I mean, she doesn't know anything, right? She's not even 2. I could get her like literally some wrapping paper and she'd be thrilled. But it's more for me anyway, because I want any excuse to spend money on her, even though then it stresses me out. Hey, coming back to taxes. Ugh. I mean, I like roads, and I also like, public parks. There's a lot of reason to pay taxes, guys. But when I see them giving like $1.5 billion to Amazon to move someplace and basically pay people really crappy, I'm like, what's this world about? Oh, well. Moving on. Let's see. What else did I do this week, guys? It was a real clunker of a week. I've been working on something I can't talk about. I have 2 writing deadlines by the end of the year, and I'm kind of freaking out. And it's at the point where literally if somebody asks me, hey, can you answer this email? I just collapse. I'm like, it's like a house of cards. And then any small, weight that's put on it, I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't. My ability to multitask is kind of gone. And I'm overwhelmed a lot. And I'm hoping that it's kind of a mental thing. I haven't been sleeping again. I mean, it's like, well, yada, yada, yada. Just shut up about your sleeping problems. But honestly, I have a disorder and I need to get on it. But I went and worked out twice last week. And I'm like, those 2 nights I actually slept. So I'm like, oh, there could be I don't know, connection. Hurdy-durdy. So I don't know what that voice was. It was like a goofy voice. Ugh, terrible. So I'm still working on my sleep, but I'm being proactive about it. And I think part of it is just the stress. The great thing is, though, the clouds are parting. It is the end of the year, and mostly in Hollywood, after Thanksgiving, nothing happens. Everybody's just on vacation for 3 months. Like literally until the middle of January, everyone's gone. They go, and then they're at Sundance. So basically, all of January is gone. So I'm kind of hoping that I'm entering a dark, quiet period where I can just basically meet my deadlines, because I've never missed a deadline, and I'm actually maybe having to push one back. I wish I could talk to you guys about these projects, because they are my projects, ones that I am writing, and they are going to see the light of day because they're on my own terms. All the other Hollywood stuff is like as a producer and a writer, like there's a lot of things I'm working on that I can't talk about that probably will never get seen, but I'm working very hard on them. And I guess I kind of miss the days where I just got to stream and do video games and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm taking a swing at a different career, guys, and you just have to do it, right? Although I really would, like I said, I like to mess it around and doing stupid videos. Maybe I'll get back to it. Who knows? Who knows, guys? All I know is I need to get through the end of the year alive and with these deadlines done. I am the kind of person who starts studying for the final day one when I take a class. So like when I see a deadline creeping up my butthole like that, I mean, not in a literal sense, but just like figuratively, it feels like that's what's happening. It's not a good feeling for me, you know. Maybe other people might like that. I don't know. People who cram. What am I talking about? Book time. What have I been consuming? Well, so I haven't been consuming a lot because, like I told you guys I'm trying to like center my brain before bed. So I finally finished Michio Kaku's Hyperspace: A Scientific Odyssey Through Parallel Universes, Time Warps, and the 10th Dimension. Guys, I love math. And I'm saying that, and that sounded really stupid. Oh my God, I love math, you guys. It's so like complicated, and it sort of tickles your brain. I forgot how much I love math. You guys might not know this. I have a math degree. I particularly gravitated toward geometry and very, very theoretical geometry, topology. I did vector analysis and tensor analysis because my grandfather was a physicist. And so differential equations I loved. So I really loved the more theoretical. Like if it didn't have a number in it, I was actually more comfortable. I like working with letters in math more than numbers. And this book, some of it lost me, okay? I don't know enough about physics to actually follow 100% what's going on. And in fact, I actually want to get another book and understand it more because it scratched an itch in my brain that hasn't been scratched in a while. And I think that's a really good thing to do to your brain. Like you're only there's so many different skills that all of us have and all of us have kind of touched on in our lives. And if you forget one whole section and you don't scratch it, I mean, it just dies. It's like it's like an orchid. Forget keeping that thing alive, right? Once in a blue moon, it'll bloom, or it'll just turn into a stick, and you'll leave it on the dining room table for a year and a half, and you'll be like, hey, that was an expensive plant that just turned into a stick. And then you'll keep the pot, and then just dump it in the trash. Analogy did not work all the way through, but what I'm saying is that if you did something in your past that was really a formative part of your life, then you should, I don't know, scratch that itch, and you'll actually kind of remember a part of you that you've lost. Because that sense memory is tied to whatever you were doing at the time. Like, I want to start playing the violin more because that was such a big part of my life earlier in my youth. And now I don't do it as much, but I know that there's part of my brains that could be activated. And maybe that would help me with my writing, just to think of different ideas. Just spur different thought processes in my mind. Because God forbid I just rely on checking Twitter to inspire my creative arts. There's nothing there. I'm literally going on hiatus. I uninstalled it from my phone again. Duolingo is now in the prominent position. And I'm just trying to improve myself, guys. We just got to slog. I feel like maybe having a kid, I used to learn so much, and then having a kid makes me feel like I'm slowing down as far as like me advancing as a person. And I don't want to wake up in 5 years and be like, hey, you didn't do anything. You just were doing kid stuff, which is great. I mean, if I'm learning about psychology, I'm helping my baby, and I'm also helping myself be a better person. Because if you're stuck, then that's when you start kind of getting sucked down into the morass. You're like a shark. You got to mentally keep moving. So I would love to get back into the math stuff. And then also, this is such an interesting book because there's a lot of stuff that I forgot or just didn't know about string theory. I mean, like our fourth dimension is part of a 10-dimensional thing that broke apart. And there's a tiny tiny pocket of 6 dimensions that just shrunk. And like, it's just this crazy ass stuff. If you put it in a magical system, you'd be like, that doesn't work. And it also reminded me that there is a beauty and simplicity and logic to higher mathematics that makes the world so understandable. I'm not saying that it means that, oh, there's a divine person that made these things happen. But there is sort of a satisfaction when you find a simplicity and a beauty to an idea that makes it feel right. And I think that applies to anything like math or physics or a beautiful idea or an invention. I mean, really, the best apps are the ones that are so simple, right? That solve a problem that we didn't know that we needed to be solved, and they solve it in the simplest way. Everybody's used that proprietary software by like Sony or whatever, that it's just a piece of poop. You get in there and you're like, this is a mess. This is a clutter F. And you don't want to use it again, right? But when you get an app, like the first time I ever started Instagram, right? I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Or even Pinterest back in the day when they actually, were first starting and then weren't like, hey, let's never update our platform again. Let's do that because ladies use it for wedding gowns. It's just, they'll take anything. Isn't it? Pinterest is just, it makes me angry because I'm like, you guys are just resting on your laurels. Like, do something. Make this better. I'm ranting a lot today. Anyway, so that's the book I just finished, and I think I'm going to dip my toe back into some fiction, you guys. I went on a tear on Amazon the other day, and I downloaded 3 different books that I really want to dig into for the rest of the year. One of them is called Kill the Queen by Jennifer Estep, and Jennifer Estep wrote a really great urban fantasy novel series about an assassin, and I just really liked it. And she did a epic fantasy about a woman who is sort of like the 17th in line to the throne, but a big assassination thing happens, and she it's a magic-based thing, and she doesn't have magic, but she's immune to magic, and then she joins a troop of gladiators, and I was like, yes, please, hot gladiators plus magic equals sign me up. Downloaded. The next one I got was another Queen book called The Queen of Crows by Mike Cole. I follow that guy on Twitter, and he's really funny and cool. He's a former Marine, I think, or military member. And I'd read a couple of his books that are more guy-oriented. And this one has a beautiful cover with this really cool, warrior woman. And it just looks like a fun, epic fantasy again. I mean, I love it, guys. If I could just live in literature that has castles for the rest of my life, I would be fine. And anyway, so those are the 2 with Queen, and I should have gotten a third Queen just to have a theme, but I didn't. The other one I downloaded was Wintertide by Ruthanna Emrys, and it looked really cool because it was it took Lovecraft mythology and kind of put it in a different format. So that one I'm really looking forward to. Actually, I might dig into that one first, just to be different. So those are the books I'm munching on for the rest of the year. Hopefully I will be able to give you some reviews at the end. I need to update my Goodreads. I know, you guys. I'm lacking in a lot of social media coordination kind of things. I think I am emotionally sort of separating myself from a lot of social media stuff because I think being too tied to it, other than just being a tool and something fun, is kind of, I don't know, self-destructive in a way, a little bit. It doesn't give me the satisfaction it used to. I do love posting pictures on Instagram, and I do love my Discord channel. So if you guys are interested in joining the Discord, it is a chat world with a lot of really cool people, and we chat about all different subjects. I can't cover them all myself, but a lot of people who know a lot of things are in all those subgroups. So go to discord.gg/Felicia Day, discord.gg/Felicia Day, and just join up. It's open, and we have moderators there who make sure that everybody's kind and nice to everybody. And I announce new things I'm doing there, and every time there's a podcast, it goes up there. So it's really cool. Discord, I think, is the thing that everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon of. So, whatever. Follow it up. I love it. I've been wanting to do one for a year now, and I finally had the help from a couple of my mods, Rocket Soup and Toronto Gal 80, who you might recognize from my chats and everything. Anyway, so come on over there. Anyway, so I have not been able to, Calliope has not been going to sleep until 9:15, which is awesome, you guys, because, the hours of 8 to 10 are basically my favorite because I get to watch some TV and just relax. Not to be this week. Not to be. It's cool. I love parenting. But I did get the chance to watch 1 hour of television, and that was The Thrilling Adventures of Sabrina, which, guys, it's really good. I love the main actress. A couple of the supporting teen. I just watched the pilot, so you can never judge something on a pilot, to be honest with you. A couple of the supporting characters, I'm looking to see where you're going. But it has this crazy, twisted sense of humor. And from what I understand, it's really an interesting sort of like commentary on religious upbringing in a weird way. I mean, because she is basically choosing between pledging herself to Satan and maybe sticking with her friends. So I love it. And I think it's really fun, and it's very stylized. I'm really excited to watch more of it. Oh, this week, guys, tomorrow, I'm going to upload this Wednesday night, so Thursday. Guys, just watch Supernatural. I'm in the newest episode, and it's not a spoiler alert because I'm literally in the trailer and the TV guide description and on the DVR description, okay? I don't see how people are like, spoiler alert, when I post a picture. I look like a badass. I'm holding a gun. Just calm down about it, guys, okay? Somebody literally was attacking somebody for spoiling Watership Down the other day, and I'm like, I don't know. I think 100 years or whatever is probably... It's not a spoiler alert to tell you that I'm existing, and I would really like you to watch the show. Because if you watch it and Charlie, that brings more people to watch the show, then they might bring me back. And then I get to be on the show more, which I love. I love the show, you guys. They are doing the 300th episode anniversary, and they're having a party, and I can't go, which I'm really bummed about. But I can't just fly away. I just can't fly places for parties anymore. Like I was Paris Hilton before, okay? I've never flown somebody for a party, but I have been tempted. And this one I really was tempted, but I just can't. It's too close to the holiday and all this blah, blah, blah. But I loved it. And I can't tell you anything about the episode, but it is really great. It gave me a lot of things to work with that were, that showed, I think this new version of Charlie, Charlie passed away, the old version of Charlie, and now I'm Apocalypse Charlie. So I'm basically the same character up until about 10 or 15 years ago. Basically, right before you met Charlie in the first episode, that would have been the time, 2 years before that would have been the time when that Charlie branched off. That's when the apocalypse happened, basically. 2 years before you first met Charlie in her first episode in season 7. So essentially, we're dealing with the same character. She obviously probably hasn't dealt with her mother in the way that they did in regular Charlie's past, because she was helped by Dean through that. So there's a lot of trauma that this Charlie has been through. She's been living in an apocalyptic world. She never met Stan and Dean. So this is real. I mean, I just think the writing on this episode is just fantastic. And I'm so honored that they brought me back and gave me something so fun to work with. So please watch it and catch up on it if you miss it on the DVR or whatever and all that stuff. Also, next Thursday, I will not be uploading next week because I do bi-weekly. I might go back to weekly, you guys, but I need to coordinate my life a little bit better for that. But next week, Mystery Science Theater 3000 is up. So please watch it. So it's there's a trailer up, and they actually revealed all 6 episodes, what the movies are, because normally Joel likes to keep that secret. But for this, it's bingeable. It's like a special binge thing. And it's 6 episodes on Netflix. And the shows are so funny, you guys. I write on one of the episodes, and I actually, in the episode I wrote on, I wrote a sketch. And they literally filmed the sketch when I walked on set, and I didn't know they were filming it. And I saw Crow and Tom Servo saying the words that I wrote because they pretty much filmed a whole sketch that I wrote. And I started crying. It was incredible. I mean, just being a part of the, Joel's world and being able to write on one of my favorite shows from my childhood and then act in it as well. And Patton is so fantastic. But really, that sketch, seeing the characters I love say my words was actually the biggest thrill I think I've had in a long time. So the episodes are six episodes. They're an hour and a half long, so you can, in fact, avoid your family on Thanksgiving and or the next day and watch all 6 in a row. It's designed to be binged. So please watch it and watch all the way through because that actually makes a difference. Like watching it all the way through quickly and or tweeting about it, the social stuff, yada, yada. All right. So I actually had a lot of updates this week. That's really fun. What a good week. This is a good week, you guys. And I had a lot of chocolate today. I found some chocolate that people gave me, fans gave me at Portland. And I was like, oh, it's going to expire. I got to eat all of it. I might regret it tomorrow, but honestly, it was the best day I've had in a long time. It just made me happy. So thank you guys. You made my writing good today. Okay. I'm going to do some questions. And please, guys, please post with hashtag please post with hashtag felicitations on Twitter or as a comment on SoundCloud. Sean Sandaluckley is very nice, and he compiles all those and puts them in a spreadsheet so I will not miss them. But I need more questions. So even if they're silly questions or deep questions or whatever, post your questions here. Christopher Long asked 2 questions. Hey, Felicia, I know you're recording your podcast soon. It is my birthday on Saturday, November 17th. Would it be possible for you to wish me a happy birthday? Well, Chris, I can't do this for everybody, but since you're the first one to ask, happy birthday, Chris Long. Yeah. And you also asked, hey, Felicia, you inspire me so much. I started my blog because of you. Well, congratulations, Chris. Who inspires you? That is a really good question. And when I got this question, I kind of got performance anxiety because I was like, I don't know who to say. I don't know what. You feel like you need to have this profound list of people. I mean, I have my regulars. I have some people like Oprah. I mean, if you don't think Oprah's inspirational, I'm not sure if you're a human being. I'm super inspired by people I know. I mean, well, okay. I'm super inspired by people I don't know, like Oprah, and I'm kind of obsessed with this Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's the 29-year-old, congresswoman. She was tweeting some really funny things about people just treating her like she's an intern, and she's in fact. And she's just so smart, and she literally was working in food service until last year. She actually knows, how people have to live and what they need in their lives, and I think she's a progressive person who I hope will shake up the Democratic Party because, I mean, like most people, all of us are fed up with the institution of politics and, the people cementing themselves and, questionable actions on all sides. But, lately more on one, in my opinion. I mean, it's a fact. Okay. Stop it, Felicia. Anyway, so she's amazing. And I just love the fact, how she deals with criticism. I admire it so much. It's like she's grown up on the internet and she just kind of greased people, but in the most classy way. I just love her. There's some people I like Nora Ephron. She's one of my idols. I've read all her books, and when she died, I actually was crying a lot. I talked about that in my book, actually, my memoir. She just really inspired me about the stories she tells and just giving women a voice as a writer and a director and a creator. Really. And I also have some friends who I know in person who I really, really admire. I admire Aisha Tyler. She seems to have this amazing career where she gets to be an actor and be a host and be and stand for gaming and stand for women and just kind of be herself. And I just love her. She is kind of like this, if I could just steal a career, she's one of them. My friend Rachel Bloom, who did Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I'd known her for years. I just met her on the internet because I admired her work so much. I just emailed her and we met right before her show, just randomly got picked up. And it's just like what she does and how she took her opportunities and how she always was just making her own thing. I guess that's what really inspires me is when people, they have something to say and they don't wait for permission to make it. And I guess that's what I try to do in my life. And hopefully I've heard people say that I inspired them to do that. And that inspires me back. Like when I meet somebody at a convention, they're like, I made my web series. I'm like, please give me a card. I want to watch it. Like, this is incredible. You wrote a book because you were inspired by something I did or something on the internet. And I don't know, we can only do what we do in this world. And I think a lot of us are trained to only do things when people give us permission or we're going to get a grade for it. And if you develop that sort of thing, like, I'm going to do this because I'm enjoying it, not because I need the praise of other people. I'm doing this because I need to express myself. And this is what I have to say on this planet before I, leave it. I think that's really inspirational to me. I am inspired by my friend Marissa Tancheron, who runs Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She is literally my go-to when I get really overwhelmed and I think I can't do all this at the same time, especially as a mom. And I realize, she runs a TV show. She also has a 3-year-old, a baby, and she has lupus and she has health problems and she takes care of a lot of family. And I'm like, what would Marissa be doing? Well, she's doing twice as much as you are right now. So just buck up and get through it. And so I admire her. I think if you had to say I admire one person, it would be her, because she does everything so beautifully and is so considerate at the same time. I love you, Marissa. She'll never listen to this. And this week I got really inspired by a story that normally would make me feel like, this world is crappy. But there was a photo of a high school. I believe it was in Minnesota or Wisconsin. I'm not quite sure. But it was a photo of the class, like a prom class of 2019. All of them, all these teenagers doing a Nazi salute to the photographer. And I was horrified, of course. I know the internet. I understand the psyche of these kids. They think it's funny. They think it's provocative. They think they're being cool. I get it. I've been on the internet, guys. It's not new. Like, I understand where all of this is coming. The thing that I used to preach, where the internet, I ranted about it last week. I'm not going to rant about it again. But anyway, I get it. But I'm still horrified that it's done without context, and it's like not right. What in the world? But there was one kid, I guess his name was Jordan, and he is in the corner and he's not doing it, and he looks so uncomfortable. And he posted a note about how he looked so uncomfortable and he didn't do it. Just basically, he inspired me so much, because imagine the peer pressure. You are in this group of your contemporaries and you're able to just not do something that everybody else clearly, who knows who was peer pressured and who did it voluntarily and who was instigating. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you get into a crowd, people just start kind of having that mind think, and I don't know. It's interesting. It would be an interesting psychological experiment to know how many people it would take a crowd of X to make them act in a way that maybe some people wouldn't want to act. But I understand that point of view, and the fact that this kid stood up to these kids and just stood there in the photo and didn't do that, and everybody else did. I was just like, wow, that kid really inspires me, because it's really hard. It's human nature to want to conform, and kudos to that kid. All right. What other questions I'm going to zip through a couple just to get through the list. And guys, please leave me questions. Rocket Soup asks, hey, Rocket Soup, you're so funny, and I was curious about you and your comedy. When did you realize you're funny? Who are your influences, and who's funny today? What kind of things make you laugh the most? And do you have thoughts on what makes a good gag or joke? That's a lot of questions, all right? It's a 6-part question, Rocket Soup. I appreciate it. I did not realize I was funny until I took an improv class. I honestly thought I was a dramatic actress, and I don't really work in half-hour comedy, you guys, but I think that if I were to choose a career, it would be in a half-hour comedy. And it would be like, half-hour version of Lost in Space. Or Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or the Middle-Aged Witch. I don't know. But I did not realize it until I was taking improv. And that was that improv class where I was in a really supportive environment with a bunch of people around me who were funny too and told me I was funny and encouraged me, even though I was like, what? Me? Funny? I'm not. That's why I'm here today, really. And I think that the people who I love I admire are like Kristen Wiig, who actually was in the improv class above me and who was in a movie with me, and who I saw on the streets of Rome a year ago. And it was one of the most embarrassing things because I was really dorky with her. And then I'm sweating because I'm thinking about this incident. She's lovely. I made an ass of myself or maybe I didn't. Maybe it was in my mind. Does anybody have that happen? Anyway, stop talking about it. It's making you sweat more. And also like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, because they're just like, I'm not a standard woman, but I'm making my own crap and I'm doing my own stuff, and I'm not going to take, I'm not going to take it from other people, and I'm just going to do my comedy. And I also love Lisa Kudrow, probably. And Katharine Hepburn is probably, Lisa Kudrow and Katharine Hepburn are probably the two who I think are the funniest. Katharine Hepburn from Bringing Up Baby, because she was a weirdo. She was a weirdo who literally was box office poison, and she was like, I'm doing my thing, man. I guess there's a thread today about just people willing to stand up against, a conformity and willing to embrace who they are despite being an outsider. Hey, I identify with that. My favorite shows are like, the things that made me laugh most are Seinfeld. I mean, like, I literally will watch an episode of Seinfeld and it'll make I don't know what is it about the comedy of Seinfeld, because I live with shame too, and I think that whole show is about shame. And it's so funny, you guys. I know it's so old now, and I didn't catch it until it was in reruns, honestly, because I was, it was a little old for me. But boy, if I just put on an episode, it makes me just so happy. And I think, the best gag and jokes are, I think the best jokes are when you establish a character, and it's all character based. If you establish a character and you put them in a situation that makes them uncomfortable. Like if you put Clara from the Guild in like a foam party, she's going to have a great time, right? You put Vork into a foam party, whoa, it's going to be very different reaction. And that's, I think, good comedy is putting characters in a situation that make them uncomfortable, and also creating distinct characters that are so distinct that if you drop them all in the same room, they're going to react to, a pizza in a completely different way. And that's hard. It's hard because if you look at TV, that's not really common. One of my favorite shows right now is Masters of None, because I just love everything about the outlook of that show. It's just a very personal look on comedy, and that's different from like a Seinfeld or Friends. But anyway, it's the one that I wish I had written or had a show like, but I don't. All right. Flipping through a couple of these, P. West 42, given the chance, would you join the cast of Wayward Sisters if the show got picked up? Well, the show did not get picked up, and I don't think it's happening, but yes. And if they asked me to be a part of it, yes. I love your hypotheticals, so I love that. Maybe it'll get picked up, or maybe they'll do like a spinoff in the future. Who knows? And Toronto Girly Toe asks, I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but there is any chance the Guild of the Flog is coming back. I loved seeing a like-minded individual on the Flog, and it got me into the History Chicks, and now I recommend it to everyone. Oh, that's awesome. Well, the Flog is basically this. In a much less professionally edited situation. So the Flog is essentially replaced with my podcast, because I try to recommend things, but not really, because I don't. The Flog is part of Geek and Sundry, so it's not really my show anymore. It's just, it is a Geek and Sundry show. And the Guild is mine, so I can do something with the Guild if I want. I always, I would love to revisit it. I love those characters. I was thinking about doing more comics, but time got away from me this year, and I would love to do it in a way that I didn't just remind people that we're older. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little depressing when you go, I just hate reunion shows. I think, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but I just hate it. I hate seeing people old as a version of because if I love something, I'm there, and I remember myself when I'm watching it at that age, and if they're older, then I'm just like, oh, I'm old and they're old. So if they're acting like they were younger, then you don't buy it. And if they're acting like they are at the age they are, then you're depressed, because then you've taken something you loved and put it into the future. And I don't know. Did that make any sense at all? I just don't like people. I don't like that stuff. So maybe there's another answer. Maybe there's an animated show. I don't know. I would love to do something with it, and I do have the freedom to do that because I never sold the rights, guys. Own your IP. Okay. Well, that's it. This is a good podcast. So please review the podcast. Spread word. I'm going to be putting a little bit more marketing heft behind this because I want more people to listen to it. And if you guys listen to it more, maybe I'll do it weekly again. That's not a threat. I mean, I'm not promising anything either. Just listen. Listen and review it. That's all I'm asking you. Okay. Have a great Thanksgiving, guys. And I will see you at the week after Thanksgiving. Happy holidays, Turkey Day. Nom, 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 nom. Nom.